Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we are doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is how do other people describe you? What do other people say about you? You can apply this to anyone, strangers in the street, work colleagues, just people that I'm not necessarily focusing on like close-knit circle. I'm also trying to tap into, friend of friends and people on social media, kind of like your outward circle and people like that, how they describe you on kind of like first impressions or just meeting you a couple of times, or what's their assumptions of you. I thought that would be really interesting. I did a video like this before. I noticed it getting, quite a few views recently, and I've been having requests to do an updated one, so I thought I would do that today. I was going to do a completely different one, but I'm preserving my energy because I want to do another Starseed video next week. I'm ready to jump back in, so I'm hoping to do more like higher dimensional type of pick of cards next week, if that makes sense. So I'm preserving my energy, so I thought I'd do this little fun one for Friday going into the weekend. So yeah, let's get in. Pile number one. Oh, by the way, happy Leo season. Are you feeling it? I'm feeling it. Happy Leo season. Let me just say that. And happy birthday to all my Leo babies. My fellow Leo babies. This is my favorite season, as you can tell. But yeah, pile number one, we have the smoky quartz. For pile number one. Pile number two, we have the orange calcite. The rough orange calcite. I kid you not, guys, you're going to hear a lot of banging because that is my cat. She has destroyed my room. Can you hear that? I haven't been sleeping up here because it's been too warm in my room, so I've been sleeping elsewhere. And my cat has taken over my whole room and knocked everything on the floor. My room is a mess. This is her room now. She's claimed it. So sorry if you hear any bangs. Pile number three is the blue calcite. Pile number four is the ocean jasper. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So we're currently taking a look at what is it that other people say about you. How do other people describe you? So you guys chose the smoky quartz. I'm going to pop that by here. And I'm going to place the oracles over here as always, because we're going to begin with tarot and we're going to clarify at the end with your two goddess oracle cards. So I do want to say as well, what was I going to say? I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. There was something I was going to say then. I completely forgot. Hopefully it'll come back to me. So pile number one, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of pile number one. How do other people speak of pile number one? What's the word on the street about pile number one? How do people describe pile number one? Strong Aquarius energy coming through. Strong Aquarius energy. Bit of Pisces, more so like the three oldest signs. A Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces is coming through. There's something very authentically unique about you guys. I feel like you stand out. Like, I feel like people describe you in a sense of like they don't really know how to describe you, pile number one. That's how it's making me feel. I feel kind of tongue-tied. It's almost like to put you in a box is kind of a trouble to do because you don't really have a box to fit in. I feel like you could be maybe like, bougie and always look your best, but then at the same time you dress very out there and unique, and you may seem shallow in the sense of the traditional sense of shallow, where when people think people are shallow because they take care of their looks and blah blah blah, like that's just kind of like a common kind of label of people on it. I don't believe in that, but people could think that, but then you speak full of wisdom, and then it's just like, wait, I don't even know how to talk about pile number one. Like I don't know whether your spirit animal is a wolf, but they keep referencing a wolf, so I don't know what they're referencing, like lone wolf, like you've maybe were kind of like the one that stuck out or the one that didn't go with the rest of the pack, like you were kind of that lone wolf, but not in a sense of like, oh, they're on their own. It's kind of like, oh wow, they're really strong. And you know how it's coming through as lone wolf, like you are a bit rebellious, strong Aquarius energy, guys. You're a bit rebellious, but like you have no problems going against the grain. You know, like everyone's going one way, you have no problem going in the other direction, even if that means walking it alone. Like people do see you as quite strong like that. Let's get into tarot. Because like, you know me, I will talk and talk and talk and just channel the energy from there. But yeah, people do have trouble putting you in a box, you know. The card just dropped. We do have the Hierophant that just dropped. Do you guys like are you guys, if you guys hear creaking, that is my chair, are you guys into like old philosophies, or are you guys like teachers, or do you teach people like new ways of living, or do you guys have a following or something like that? That's how it's coming through with the Hierophant. Are you guys like psychic, or tap into your psychic abilities, or maybe you just like have a forum, like a blog or YouTube or something like that, where you just speak, but like wisdom comes through when you speak? The only reason I'm saying that is because the fact that I chose the 3 oldest signs is the energy I was picking up from you guys: Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And then we have the Hierophant, but they're coming through like this is you. Like when you speak, people listen. I do feel like you may have a bit of a following, or at least people look up to you and what you have to say. You kind of awe-inspire people. 100%. I want to get more. Let's clarify the Hierophant, please, spirit guides. How do other people describe pile number 1? How do people describe pile number 1? How do people describe pile number 1? 4 wands. Okay. And we also have the 6 of swords. I do feel like you guys are heavily connected to spirit, and what I'm really picking up here with the 6 of swords as well, I feel like people in your hometown know you as someone who has been through a lot, or have seen you through a lot of phases. Because there's this energy, I'm getting here that you have a following, people look up to you. But then I feel like not necessarily a close-knit circle, but I feel like people that maybe watched you grow up or knew you growing up kind of have this energy about you of like, oh, they've overcome a lot, or I know them to have gone through this, but now they're doing this. Like you've really walked away from a lot, or maybe you've walked away from a lot of people. Maybe you've cut off a lot of people. Maybe you've cut off old traits about you that didn't serve you anymore. Maybe you were known for like partying before, and now you live a very holistic lifestyle. Maybe you were known in the past as being somebody that was very rebellious, but like in a kind of like a loud way, in a very boisterous way, but now it's more in a way of like leading, being a leader, you know what I mean? Maybe you were the person to talk up in school and kind of maybe be seen as a bit of a, not a menace in school, but maybe a little bit of again, lone wolf, I'm going against the grain. But as you've kind of grown up, it's kind of like, I do my own thing, I'm a free spirit. But maybe in the past they had a view that it was more of a rebellious thing in a negative way, and now it's like, oh wait, they actually just do their own thing. Cool, you know? So there's almost like a shift in dynamic of people that knew you growing up. But then I also feel like people that may be on your path right now, they never saw the caterpillar to butterfly stage, and they're just seeing you as this Hierophant and seeing you as somebody that full of wisdom, somebody that they can look up to, somebody that they are in awe with. And with the 4 of wands here as well, I almost feel like you there's almost this energy of you almost being put on a pedestal by people in a way. You know, I said there was like 2 versions of people that are talking about you. I feel the people that are like following you, I feel like they do have you on a pedestal, not in like in a toxic way or anything like that, but just like, again, you speak, they listen. You speak, they listen. It's like you have what they need. Maybe you're a motivational speaker, you know what I mean? Maybe you're like a makeup guru on YouTube, and then people come to you like, you know, this following here, it's like people that like makeup and come to you. Or maybe again, you know, you're a tarot reader and then people come to you for your tarot readings. Or maybe you know, you are a writer and people come to you for your books. It's something like that. Or maybe just your essence and your style, whatever it is. There's people that are very inspired by you. There's something about the way that you dress as well that people talk about. Again, I'm almost feeling like when you were younger, you may have dressed a little bit out there and people were like, what is this person wearing? What are they doing? Whereas now you do it and everybody's like, whoa, that person's on their own wave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you stand out, very much stand out. People are intrigued by you. When people talk about you, I don't even feel that they put you in a box. You have these people but here talking about you like, oh, this person, they have so much wisdom, or they're so good at what they do, or they have these words or this style or whatever, and it's so great. So they're talking about you like that. But I almost feel then the people that watched you grow up, or the people maybe from school or your hometown or something like that, it's almost like, I don't know whether you've done a whole 360, or you've just phoenixed a lot. Maybe you have a lot of Scorpio, like Plutonian energy in your chart. You've just phoenixed a lot. And they're just kind of like, I can't even get my finger on this person. This person's constantly changing. But the main thing that I feel like is being talked about the people that have watched you grow up, etc., is that person's been through a lot. Like, that person's like a fighter. Like, that person's like a lone wolf. Like, I wouldn't mess with them. Like, they're hard. You know what I mean? Like, they can just like withstand the storm, and they've really overcome a lot. And I don't think I would have been able to overcome what they did. I don't know what they're talking about here, pile number one, but that's how it's coming through. No matter what you've gone through, or maybe you've just gone through a very big phoenix moment, but they're kind of like, I don't think I could do that. That person's very strong. There is a respect coming from both ways here. Pile number, yeah, I feel like you were underestimated. Knight of Pentacles here. I feel like you were underestimated a lot. Maybe when people from, again, your hometown town that grew up with you, maybe old family members and stuff, you know, they will be like, they may have thought that you were a bit too rebellious, or your dreams were a bit out there. Because remember, I'm picking up Pisces energy too. Like, this person has a dream of doing this, like a professional go-karter or whatever the case, you know, something that seemed out there, and you went for that. Oh, don't make me shut my windows. Oh, I'm gonna have to shut my windows now, guys. It's so hot up here, and I prayed that they would not do this, and now I'm gonna have to shut my windows and boil. So 2 seconds. Okay, let's hope they stop, because I'm already sweating here. It's hot here. Okay. So what was I saying, Spirit Guides? What was I saying? Yeah, it's almost like you had too many, like, your dreams, they were so out there. And I feel like maybe you come from like a small town where people may have small town mentality and don't think of doing anything very out there. And I feel like you were always that risk taker. And I feel like in the past, people may have seen it as reckless and talked about it like, oh, I don't know, they're on another planet. I'm hearing somebody say, they're on another planet. I don't know what it is, but they're on another planet. But I feel like as you've gotten older, you've actually achieved things or made these strides or been very free-spirited. And now they're like, this person really knew what they were talking about. Like, I underestimated that person. Like, that's how it's coming through. Pile number one, Spirit. How do people talk about pile number one? How do people describe pile number one? The Hanged Man. The first thing that came up was enlightened. Like, you have they're telling me wacky ideas to other people, but very like, it's like your heart's leading the way. They're playing me the Jhené Aiko song, Lead the Way, from the Raya the Dragon movie. The Raya the Last Dragon, I think it's called. And they're playing me that. Like, your heart and your intuition, it kind of leads the way and you follow that. Somewhat of a nomad. And again, it's like, in the past, people would have thought that was reckless. But, you know, they're kind of looking at you now like, whoa, that person actually has pretty cool ideas, pretty unique ways of looking at life, pretty weird lifestyles, but it's working. Like, they're abundant, they're in alignment. I'm hearing they're glowing, you know. It's like you're continuously phoenixing into a better person. And I'm almost being shown somebody stood on a rock, and they're showing me almost like asteroids and kind of like comets hitting against them, and I almost see them like you kind of like rising up against them and making it through. And the way that they're saying that is they keep referencing you've been through a lot, stood up against it, and now they're like, oh my god, this person, like, no matter what happens, every time that they hit rock bottom, they bounce up even more elevated. Like, how is this happening? Like, I could never do that. Like, maybe in the past it was just like, oh, this person's on another planet, you know, oh my god, like, what's going on there? This person's got a lot going on. But now it's just like, oh, this person's really clued on and very intelligent, and they could have gone one way and let all of this get to them, but they've actually like flourished into this, you know, wildflower, and now they're free-spiriting it up and they're very happy, you know what I mean? And it's like they don't care about what other people have to say. I feel like you do come across like that. You come across as someone that does not care what anyone has to say what anyone's doing, it's like I'm doing me. You know what I mean? I mind my business and I'm doing me. And people actually respect that. And I'm hearing there are people that are envious of the way that you look at life because they don't look at life that way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we see a lot of people and they try to be like someone or try to be as, you know, they take the style of someone, they take the speech of someone sometimes, you know what I mean? They take that, whereas like you are like your own, and they're like, oh my god, how do they, it's kind of like how. So there's people that are envious and there's people that are very inspired, but I also do feel here that there is some sort of following that really likes to listen to what you have to say. Let me know if you have like a YouTube or something like that, because that it's like a different set of people. Like here I'm talking about people that knew you growing up and have watched your journey, but then here I'm picking up a different set of people that are coming onto your path now as you kind of like talk what you've been through or talk about what you're about, you know. Pile number, it is like a sauna in here. Pile number 1. Thing is as well, I heat up when I read. I don't know whether any of you guys like channel energy as well, but when I channel, because I like direct channel through, my body becomes an oven, and I don't know why. I've never known anyone to say it before. My body goes really hot. I don't know why. I don't know why that happens, but I think it's like because there's so much energy passing through my body. But in a heated room like this, and I feel like I'm gonna burst into flames. Pile number 1, spirit guides. Pile number 1. How do other people describe pile number 1, spirit guides? How do other people describe? I just read superstar. Do you have a following? Are you famous? Are you Ariana Grande? I won't be surprised if she ever follows my videos. I bet you my spirit guides are trying to usher that, because they be bringing up her songs all the time. I'm like, what is the point of all these Ariana songs? What are we doing with all these songs? Pile number 1. Ooh, we have the moon. We have the moon. Yeah, I'm being told that, like, you've had a lot of things in life that were sent to you that could have broken people, but it's like you used it as fuel to catapult into a very, like, the big bad wolf. I just shared, not like bad energy, but you know what I mean? Like you're very, again, it's like leadership. You've used it as ammunition to be the best version of you, if that makes sense, with the moon energy. Oh, there's wolves on there too. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's what I'm picking. There's something about wolves. I think they're dogs, though. I don't know if they're no, they're obviously wolves. Obviously they're wolves. Why would I just randomly think that they're dogs? But yeah, that's what I'm picking up. Like I've turned into this leader, and things that were supposed to, or in their eyes, would have absolutely killed someone. It's like you took it and you were like, you found the silver lining, you found the wisdom, you found the inner meaning, and you used it to catapult yourself into abundance and alignment, you know what I mean? And you're still going, you know. Pile number 1, how do people describe pile number 1, spirit guides? How do people describe pile number 1? Yeah, look at that, Ace of Pentacles. I said abundance as well. It's funny because I'm hearing, like, again, people that grew up with you, people that saw you when you were younger, maybe they saw you going through a lot of things. It was almost like, oh, this person, again, on their own planet, like, I don't know what they're doing. And, you know, it's almost like it was whimsical. It was just like, oh, what is going on there? But now they're looking at you like, whoa, this person's a rare gem. Like, this person's a rare gem. Like, you know them people when they come from nothing and turn it into something in any sort of field. I'm not going to, you know, mention all different types of people, but in any field you have those people that had that idea that was wacky. No one believed in them. And then they kind of went for it. And it created success. Like, that's how you're seen. And it doesn't have to be success money-wise, although this pentacle here is making me feel that way. It can also be just like, to be honest, I'm being told you're making your dreams a reality. You're making the unique world and sense of living that almost seemed impossible before. You are now living it. Like, you talk the talk and people were a bit like, but now you're walking the walk and people are like, oh. Because people are fickle like that. You can tell people stuff and they're not going to believe it until they see it in front of them, you know? And I feel like now you're walking that walk, or you're coming into that timeline. Yeah, you're coming into that timeline that's saying, well, you're walking that walk, and people are like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, oh wow. And now you're seen as this gem, you know? You're seen as this gem. What is it that Aladdin, because they're taking me to Aladdin, what do they say? Diamond in the rough. Because he's like, what was Aladdin so unique about? He had like a really nice heart, didn't he? He was a nice person. So he was like a diamond in the rough. I think that's what they meant by that. I don't know. But that's how it's coming through. It's just like, you are that rare gem, you know? Oh, your other card just dropped on my hands. Oh God, sorry. We have the Emperor. Are you stepping into your masculine energy? Because I'm almost being shown somebody like in their divine feminine energy, but it was almost like, okay, this person's very, very sweet and very, very nice, and they have a very beautiful heart, and they have all of these ideas and dreams, but it's just like, they're in another world, you know, like they're living in their mind. They're in a different realm almost, you know. And I do feel it was right. I do feel like you were in another realm. I feel like you were in higher realms. I feel like you were connecting with spirit, whether that was through art, music, or actually channeling and going on a spiritual journey. But it came to a point then where you were like, right, okay, let's actually make this real. Let's step into my masculine energy and let's actually bring this into the physical. And you've done that, and they're like, whoa, you know. There are some people with this Emperor energy, they're a little bit discerning towards you, just in the sense of like, I feel like you may do something or have a lifestyle that isn't the norm, and they're kind of like skeptical about it. Like, are they all what they say they are? Are they real? Are they actually, you know, is this what it is? You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I don't know about that. Maybe if you're a tarot reader, people are like, oh, you know, they like to say, well, tarot readers, like, oh, devil worship and all that. So it could be something like that, or maybe it's like you're making music and they're like, but how though? How are they making money through the music? It's like skeptical energy like that, you know? But you're out here, you know, living life. Look at this 9 of Cups. That's how people are seeing you right now. I don't know. They're almost taking me to social media, so I don't know if they post on social media. It could just be word of mouth or whatever. But with the 9 of Cups energy, here it's like, there's something about you being very self-reliant and getting every cup for yourself and not having to beg, steal, or borrow, not having to I'm almost being made to feel like what people know about you is that you didn't really have anybody, or you didn't really have anybody that could help your success or anything like that, and they're saying, wow, that person did it all on their own. So you actually do have a lot of respect. A lot of people, the only negative things that people say is when it's like envy, and they're just probably, you know, when people are envious, I don't really feel like you give them a lot to talk about in a negative way, though. Like, I almost feel like people trying to find something negative to say, but maybe in the past they'd be like, oh, that person's just like floating. That person's just like floating through the tides, you know what I mean? And now that you're actually bringing it into the physical, it's like they're lost for words. They don't really know what to say like that. So it's just envy within them now, you know what I mean? But you inspire a lot of people. You definitely inspire a lot of people. Of course, you have a couple of skeptics here, but it's more so they're in their logical mind, and it's just kind of like, well, how? You know? Well, how do they do this? But you definitely baffle people. People can't put you in a box at all. You may be someone of many talents, and people do look up to you. Now, the two cards we have, the goddess cards that we have Alliance right here. And then we also have radical acceptance. So with radical acceptance, again, I'm picking up that energy like when everyone went right, you went left. You know, maybe with that person in the school and, you know, everybody dressed a certain way or had certain ways of doing things, and you're like, not for me, you know, and not even in like a rebellious way, just in a sense of, that doesn't fit me, that doesn't fit my mold. And people were like, wait, what? You know, like, what? Like, this person's so reckless, but it weren't. I feel like you're not someone to beg for acceptance. I feel like you kind of created your own lane. You were like, I know I'm not going to fit in this lane. It doesn't really fit well with me. And I am going to create another lane for myself. And you've excelled in it, you know? You've excelled in your own lane. And they're like, oh, okay. And with Alliance, it's coming through with Alliance, like you didn't have anybody. You kind of had to follow your heart and go it alone. And I feel like you're coming through as a bit of a warrior here with these two energies, especially this one here. You're coming through as a bit of a warrior. Yeah, and do you see the peacock feathers here? You may have like peacocked. You know when they open their wings and they have all those beautiful feathers. I feel like you may have done that. I feel like you may have kept all of your inner dream world ideas kind of like hidden just for you, because it was like no one's gonna get it, or there's no point me saying, or I would just rather wait until I know what I'm doing. And people were just kind of like, oh, that person isn't up to much, or that person doesn't have a lot to say about themselves. And then all of a sudden it's like you just kind of like, maybe you're like Mars and Scorpio or something like that, or you just kind of like hid what you were getting up to, or the inner work you were doing, or your spirituality, or whatever the case, and then you kind of brought it out the closet, like here it is, once it was like finished, once you perfected it. And then people were like, whoa, since when was that? With this peacock energy, it's kind of like you blossomed out of nowhere, and people are like, ooh, okay, so that person did have a lot to say actually, or that person was actually heading somewhere. I thought they were just being reckless, but actually that was their whole plan. That's actually a really cool plan. So there's a lot of respect here. The back of the goddess deck for you guys was inexperience. So I feel like that's how people may have seen you before, like somebody that they're playing me the Stormzy song Vossy Bop, and he sings, had a couple seeds and made a forest. So, you know, people may have had whole forests, you know, for their kingdoms to grow, and you just had a couple of seeds, and they were just kind of like, oh, you know, they have their seeds, I wish them well, but like, you know, and you were very optimistic, and they were just kind of like, why are they optimistic? They have 3 seeds, you know. But then as time went on, these seeds created this forest, created this huge kingdom, and then it's just kind of like, oh, that person's really done something for themselves. Wow, you know what I mean? So you've really changed the way people see you. But you also have a following that came up at the beginning of the reading, but they told me to focus on this. But there is this following that loves to hear you speak or sing, or something to do with the voice or the way your mind works, because they're taking me to the moon sign, whatever your moon sign is in, the way that you speak. The Mercury sign as well, but it's more so the moon. They're taking me to your moon. What is it about your moon? Do you have a Pisces, Aquarius, or Capricorn moon, or Scorpio? Because they keep referencing the moon for some reason. But yeah, that's what I have for you, pal number 1. So I really hope that you enjoyed. I hope this resonated. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Now to welcome to your reading. So we are currently taking a look at how others describe you and what it is that people say about you. So if you guys chose the beautiful orange calcite crystal, then this is your reading. So I'm going to pop that over there. Now these oracle cards I'm going to take out last. I'm going to look at last, and they are basically going to be clarifying what the tarot cards say, and what we've picked up, any deeper information. So let's get straight in. I'm going to begin with tarot. So Spirit guides, tap me into the collective of the orange calcite, pile number 2. What is it that people say about pile number 2, Spirit guides? What is it that people say about pile number 2? They're showing me fairies and the fae. So I don't know whether you guys are quite tiny and like height, or you're very like whimsical like that. Maybe you're into like movies, or into, they keep taking me to the forest and fairies, and maybe you're into like movies that are quite mystical. I don't know, that's at least how you come across. Very sweet, but also mysterious at the same time. They're referencing you like a fairy for some reason. Let's get in. Pile number 2. Maybe you have a lot of air energy in your chart, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Pile number 2, Spirit guides. Yeah, they're playing me the song. I can't even say it. I'm just gonna like, you know, the Jhené Aiko song, P Fairy. How do I say it? I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it. I'm just Pussy. I can't say it because YouTube don't like that. But you know that song, P Fairy by Jhené Aiko? They're playing me that. And funnily enough, you've chosen the orange calcite. And in that song, she plays singing bowls for the sacral chakra, which is what the orange calcite connects us to, sensuality. So you guys may seem quite sensual, or people feel that way about you, because that song's being played, but then also it's referencing fairies too. Let's get in. Something mysterious about you. Something very mysterious and alluring about you. And I know sirens are like mermaids, but there's almost this siren energy about you too. People can't help but be drawn to you. Pile number 2, spirit guides. What do people say about pile number 2, spirit guides? What do people say about pile number 2? How do other people describe pile number 2? You got people that find you very attractive. And sometimes I say this and people like, Lex, no one's finding me attractive. Like, no one's in my DMs or anything. But they might not be in your DMs. But I feel like you are somebody that's talked about in that way. Like, people find you very attractive. And I almost feel like you are oblivious, like, to people trying to flirt with you sometimes. Or people actually finding you attractive. Like, you don't see that they are attracted to you like that, you know? Because again, it's showing me like the fairy energy of almost like oblivious, like in another realm in your own world, you know? The fae are in another realm. It's like you're like that, but then it's like people are like, oh wow, that person's really attractive, or they're like, there's something about you, like that's how they're making me feel. There's something about you, and I feel like that is talked about with you guys, pile number 2. Like, oh, this person, like whether it's your physique or your face or your mannerisms, the way that you speak, I'm being told, it's like a siren. I feel like people do talk about you like that person's very attractive, or that person, you know, I'm really drawn to that person. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't even have to be like sexually attracted or just like attracted by the looks or anything like that. It's just your aura in general. Even people that aren't attracted to you in a romantical way, you know, they're kind of like, oh, like I'm attracted to that person's vibe, that energy, the way they speak, like it's attractive. Like people do talk about that about you. Like, I don't know why I'm drawn to them. So pile 2, how do other people describe pile number 2, spirit guides? How do people describe pile number 2? Okay, so we have the King of Cups. Yeah, it's the way you are, and I've referenced this in a couple of my videos before, so you may be coming from the same pile that I've referenced this. You know in Beauty and the Beast where Belle's walking through the town reading her books and singing to herself? She's in her own world and everyone's talking about her or singing to her, but she just is absolutely oblivious. You come across like that. You may even come across like, I'm going to say cold, but I know you don't mean it cold, but people may feel that way. People talk like you may ice them out, and I don't feel that you do. It's almost this sense of like you don't realize people are flirting, or you don't realize people are shooting their shot, or maybe you're like, I'm like this with people, especially in regards to small talk. You may be a little bit awkward at like having small talk with people, or maybe you have like resting bitch face, or maybe you're just like always in another realm, like in your mind, so you're never really like knowing that people are maybe trying to speak to you or something like that. But there's this energy of, this person's so cool, I really want to get in their bubble, but they've got their guard up, like they don't want me in their bubble, or they're not interested. Like there's this energy of, this person's so attractive but they're not interested in me at all, like I've tried, I don't think they care, you know? That's how you come across, and that's how you're spoken about. That's coming through first of all. It's like, you don't, not that you don't care, because I'm seeing a lot of passion from you, and people do see that, but then it's like, well, why aren't they like it with me? It's almost like they'll see you dancing about or lighting your face up and being really fun, but then the minute they go and approach you, because you may not know them, maybe it takes you a while to open up, maybe you're like a Cancer rising, Libra rising, something like that, Scorpio rising, so it's like they'll try and approach you and they expect that same kind of passion and fun that you were just doing with like your best friend of 5 years or whatever, and then it's kind of like back to straight face. And it's just because I feel like there's some Cancer rising, Scorpio rising element of like, I will be like that with you, but it takes me a while. You're going to have to really make me feel safe to come out my shell like that, you know? So it's almost like they come towards you and then it's like, rest in face, you know? And they're like, oh, you know, like, oh, they really don't like me. So they can take it as like, oh, this person doesn't like me, but I don't think that it's that. I just think it takes you a while to open up. And that's how people will speak about you. Like, they don't say anything bad, but it's like, they're not interested in me. Like, I've tried to shoot my shot. They were not impressed with me. When you probably were, or you could have been, or you could have just been oblivious. It's just, it takes you a while to warm up, you know? Pile number 2. How do people describe pile number 2? Yeah, Two of Swords. They're just like, what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for them to like me, or what's it gonna take for them to break their walls down with me? Like, I know they've got so much wisdom, you know, up in their head. I know that they've got so much to say, really, and I know that they're funny, and I know that they're this, but it's like, where is the doorway for me to get in? It's very guarded. I don't know what I've got to do to what's that song? What have I gotta do to make you want me? Who sings that? I don't know. I've heard that song somewhere, but that's what was coming through. Was just like, I don't know, you know. Let's get in, because it's almost like a weight that people are talking about before I can even get into anything else. It's like this weight of like, how do I get into that circle? It's like you're like again, I was gonna say like you're like air, try to grab it and you can't catch it. It's kind of like a fairy, isn't it? I can't imagine catching a fairy would be very easy. They got little wings, they could fly away. You know, like I'm seeing someone like pinching, trying to grasp for the air, but you can't exactly hold air in your hands. You're like that, you know. And they're playing me the Janae Aiko song. She's come up a lot today. Oh my god. Spotless Mind. You know, when she's continuously going through this evolution of change within herself, and she's one person 1 hour and one person the other hour. And on Spotless Mind, she sings "I'm a Wanderer." You're very like that. You're hard to tame, not in the sense of like you're a wild ferocious beast hard to tame, but like you're this kind of like mystical creature that's almost like that's how you're coming through. It's like you're a myth, like you're talked about like that, like you're this beautiful mystical creature that you know, like fairies, you know. We all I believe in the fae, you know what I mean? They're light beings, I believe in that. But it's like a lot of people, they have these mermaids and these fairies, they're mythical creatures, but we don't necessarily see them with the physical eye because they're not necessarily in the physical realm. Or to some people, they don't even exist, but they're in their mind. You can create the vision of a fairy and a mermaid, but to have them in your life and grab them, it's not really the case, really, is it? So you're kind of seen like that, like you're like a myth, like an enchanted myth that's so alluring and you want it, but it's a fantasy. Do you understand what I mean? It's like I want that and I'm going to shoot my shot, but it's going to remain this fantasy in my mind because I don't think they want to make it into a reality or they're not interested. It's like you're hard to grasp like that, you know? And I feel like a lot of people daydream about you because they're playing me the Doja Cat song Love to Dream, if you want to listen to that. And that's how you're seen. It's like there's this daydreamy energy about you, like people daydream about you. Pile number, who are you, pile 2? Very attracted to you though. It's your vibe that shines through that makes you so attractive. Somebody may have very, very long or big hair. That's what I'm being shown. And there's something about you being whimsical, you know? Like your body may be very whimsical, or you just have the presence of a mermaid or a fairy or something like that. Pile number 2, spirit guides. How do other people describe pile number 2? Upright or upside down? Upright. Yeah, it's almost like people have to look at you from afar or wonder about you or ponder about you. There's such a mystical side to you. You may work with spirit. I am being shown somebody posting crystals or holding crystals or maybe having a crystal necklace or something like that. Like people, there's something so mystical, you know? You have a very beautiful healing energy that I'm tapping into. So I do see that that's something that draws people in. But again, it's like people are seeing you from afar. People are seeing you from a crowded room. But it's like the minute they go to approach, you're gone. It's that type of energy. Or people want to know more about you. But it's like you only reveal a certain amount. And you leave people with this kind of like doorway of like it's like a Pisces element. You maybe you have a lot of Pisces in your chart. You have like Neptune close to the ascendant or something like that. It's just you're there then you're not. Like that's how it's being made to feel. So people talk about you like it's more so like, what's the deal with this person? Who really are they? Who knows? You know, that's what's coming through. Pile number 2, spirit guides. How do people describe pile number 2? How do people describe pile number 2? 5 of Swords. Yeah, it's almost like they feel like they're sent packing in a way, you know. Let me just open my bedroom windows, guys. I had to shut it when I was doing pile 1 because it was a lawnmower, but it's very, very hot in Wales today and my room is like a sauna. Oh, I need some oil on that. Yeah, and I was saying a pile number 1 as well. When I read and I channel, my body heats up like an oven. So that with the heat today is just not fun for me. But yeah, I feel like people just end up stepping away or people just end up walking away because it's just like, I feel like it's their own insecurities. I just feel like you have a guard up or you're just someone that the way that I'm picking up on your energy, you are someone that will only let people in if they kind of vibrate on your level. And that's not like an energy of, oh, I'm too good for you, but it's just like, you want somebody that's like you want somebody that you can feel comfortable with, you want somebody like that. And I feel like maybe what I'm actually seeing is a lot of people may come towards you letting maybe their ego get in the way or them trying to impress you, but you're very intuitive, I'm being told, and you see through it. So people may be like, I get this a lot, so I'm just going to use it from my experience to kind of explain, because they're telling me like what happens with me. A lot of people from my hometown, they've seen, you know, I connect with spirit, I post, you know, I post pictures of the ocean and everything. I'm always doing things like that. So I have people trying to slide into the DMs in the sense of, I know damn well they don't really care for the things that I do, but then it's just like they'll try and jump in the DMs of like, oh, what's this crystal for? Or can you point me in the direction of like a good tarot reader? Or they'll be like, do you want to go and like watch the sunset? Or try and think of things that they think that I would like. And I know that that's not really what they like to do, and I kind of see through it. I hope this is making sense. Like, they'll try and kind of get in my good books that way. And kind of worm their way in. And then I later on find out that they're not really into that at all, and then they side-eye me when I'm doing it. And I just feel like that may be like you guys, maybe like you see through people's attempts to kind of climb onto your wave, or maybe people try to impress you with things that you're not interested in, like oh, you know, look at this expensive car that I've got, or this expensive watch that I've got, or etc., etc. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like maybe that doesn't really fit what you really care about. And then you're like, well, that, you know, I can kind of see through that. Like, I'm not really into that. I want like true authenticness, if that makes sense. And people are like, you know, and then they're like walking away like, they see through me, you know. I feel like you're like that. You're kind of like a BS detector, a bull-ish detector. Like, I feel like you can see through that, and people are like, oh, this person doesn't like me, or this, you know. But it's just like, with you, it's just like you're on your wave or you're not on your wave, you know. Pile number two, spirit guides. How do people talk and describe? Pile number 2, 7 of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, 3 of Cups. Clarify the 3 of Cups, please, Spirit. How do people describe? We got the Lovers here as well. Back of the deck, we have the 2 of Cups. Okay, so straight up, like I was saying, you draw in romantic interest. You draw in people, like, you're very alluring like that. I feel like people are very drawn to you like that. You're almost put on a pedestal a bit by people. You get a lot of attention from, like, romantic suitors, and that's where a lot of the talk about you comes in, okay? That's where people are talking about you the most. This person's very attractive. You know, I'm being shown a scenario where somebody's, like, out to eat. Like, you guys are, like, out to eat somewhere, and then somebody's just like, oh, look at that person. But it's like, you're so oblivious, you know, like, you're like you're just enjoying your food, you know what I mean, enjoying your fries or whatever, and then there's somebody just like, oh, you know, or the waiter is like going back and being like, oh, I'm gonna serve that table because I like that person, you know what I mean, I'm attracted to that person. But it's like, I'm being shown little scenarios like that happen with you all of the time, but you never realize it. You just don't realize it. You just think they're being nice, so you're just like, oh, you know, like, you don't realize that there's flirting going on, or somebody's trying to meet your eye level. You know, maybe you don't make a lot of eye contact and someone's trying to go out their way to get your eye contact, but it's like you're not making the eye contact because you're like in your mind, you know what I mean, listening to music, you know, whatever the case. And with the 7 of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune here as well, I just feel like, you know what it is? You know who talks about you a lot as well as people that have been in your life in the past? You know, like ex-friends, ex-boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever the case, ex-partners. They talk about you because you, again, you have this kind of like flowy energy. You are on to the next. You don't wait around. You just like fly to the next realm. Like, you just move on. You're always doing that. You're living this kind of free-spirited energy. And I feel like people from the past do have your name in their mouth, but it's more so like, again, you're a BS detector. Like, I feel like you've cut off a lot of people in your life, in this lifetime, that have had bad intentions towards you, or just, maybe they just couldn't keep up and they fell off, or maybe you just, you know, you were going a different way. I do see that you ascend a lot, because I'm picking up, like, Pisces energy, ascension energy. You know what I mean? You're always moving on. And I feel like a lot of people talk about you in that sense, like people from the past. But it's more so like what they knew of you before, you know, like friends from like 5 years ago, they'll talk about how you were 5 years ago. But like I said, I show that Jhené Aiko song, Spotless Mind, you are a wanderer, you were always moving on. So they're talking about 2009's version of you, and you're in like 2021's version of you. You're a new person every year, you know. So I feel like they try and hold on to the past while you're like ascending into the future. Now another thing I do want to say, because I feel like you got a lot of people in a headspin that talk about you, to be honest with you, Three of Cups and the Lovers, whatever gender you are or whatever the case, you know what I mean, you know, whatever you call yourself, you do get people that can be jealous when they're in relationships, because whoever their boo is may be like attracted to you or say something like, oh, that, you know, they could be walking through a mall, you walk past them, and then, you know, that person could stare at you a little bit longer and they're like, ooh, like I almost see somebody like being protective of their relationship, you know, like being protective of that when you're around, because you are very attractive. And there's almost this energy, and I don't know why, with this Three of Cups and the Lovers. Have you guys in the past had people step towards you that were in relationships but then you just didn't know about it? Or maybe you did know about it, I'm not judging either way, but I'm almost feeling like you may have not realized somebody was in a relationship, or people that were in relationships have tried to step towards you or tried to be flirty with you, or maybe just being friends with you, and then that partner was a little bit jealous. Because that's coming through here. Their partner would be a little bit jealous. It's almost like, I don't trust that person, but it's not that anything you've done. It's just the jealousy of like, you know, they should not be trusting their partner if they feel that way, but it's almost like, oh, let me keep that person away from my partner type of thing. Not that you give off the energy that you're going to take anyone, because like I said, you're just like this little fairy. I don't really feel like you're bothered, but I feel like, you know, romantic suitors that may be in already a relationship are drawn to you too. And, because like I said, you're like a siren, and I feel like that's not immune to anybody, you know what I mean? And I feel like they may be a bit like, oh, a bit jealous in that way, you know what I mean? I feel like it. But you have a lot of people that are wanting to make you bae. Like, a lot of people are wanting to make you bae, but I just feel like for you, it's not about looks. And, you know, I feel like maybe you've had people that have put you on a pedestal, come close to you, but then it's like it was all lust, you know what I mean? Like they were just focused on the energy and not what you had to say or who you were. So maybe that's why you're very closed off or careful. I like to call it careful. I'm the same way. I feel like you're quite careful of who you bring in, because people may put you on a pedestal and it's like, I'm more than that, you know? I'm a lot more than this. I'm a lot more than just this vibe or this energy. I'm a lot more than just this healer. I'm not your healer. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your saving grace. I'm not like this trophy. You know what I mean? I'm a person and I want to have a deep connection, and I feel like that's what you're looking for. I want you to know that you will get that with the Two of Cups. That is coming through from Spirit. You will get that. But I do feel like you have dealt with a lot of people that have kind of like being drawn to the siren, if that makes sense, you know? And I'm gonna, oh no, I won't show you the back of the deck. Oh yeah, I'll show you these two first. So the cards we have here, we have Potential by here, and then we also have Communion. Now, do you see these two ladies by here? They have a golden energy. Whenever I see this golden energy, when I tap into somebody's like energy and that aura, the golden energy usually comes through of somebody that is a shaman or a healer or somebody that works with spirit or has ascended to a certain point. They have a kind of golden energy around them. I always see that when I tap into people that are doing any sort of light work like that. So you guys may be a light worker, but with this energy here, I feel like that's definitely the siren that they're picking up on. They don't see the golden aura, you know, that I'm picking up on here, and I love how it correlates with the orange calcite as well. They don't see that, you know, they don't see that, but they just like, wow, that person's so alluring. With the Potential card as well, I feel like you are seen as like the creme de la creme, and I'm here to hype you up, Paltu. That is how you are seen. Top tier, you know? You may have a lot of people say to you, like, you're my dream person. Like, you are seen that way, you know? And it's your energy making that happen, you know, and manifesting. I feel like you are very attractive in anything that you do. And the fact that on each of their eyes, they have these little gems. So you definitely follow your intuition or are connected to your intuition, or you are psychic with these energies here. But yeah, I feel like people do see you as, you know, creme de la creme. People do see you as that. You may get people that copy you a bit, just because they try to do what you do, thinking that it's going to make them shine like this, forgetting that it's your, well, not even realizing it's your aura. Again, a lot of people do talk about you like past versions of you. Remember when they did this? Remember when they stopped talking to me and they didn't tell me why 9 years ago? Well, they're a bitch, you know? And it's just like, well, no, I just was moving on, you know? Like, you do have people that you've left and they're kind of in a huff about it. They want to know what's going on. And again, you're like a fairy, you're like mist. They can't catch up anymore, you know? The back of the deck as well, we have home. Again, when I see home, I feel like you're connected to the higher realms. The fact the fairies were coming through straight away, you're connected to the higher realms, and that's why people are so drawn to you. But I definitely see in romantic side, it's like people are very drawn to the healing energy. It stands out. I feel like people are very like sensually drawn to you like that. That's why they were playing me the P fairy song. And I feel like that's kind of like the word on the street about you most of all. Like people are very attracted to you and people have a lot to say in that regard. You know, that's how you're like seen and stuff like that. I don't feel like people talk too much because I don't think that you give people enough to say. It's almost like hypnotized by, you know, the attraction almost. Yeah, so that's what I have for you, pal number 2. That's what's come through. I hope this resonated. I hope I was able to give you a bit of an ego boost. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if this resonated for you. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you are watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 3, welcome to your reading. So we are currently taking a look at how other people describe you and what people say about you. So you guys chose the blue calcite. I'm going to pop that over here. These 2 oracles I'm going to take a look at last, and they are basically going to be confirming the reading and taking a look at the higher energies of the reading. But I'm going to get straight into tarot. And let's get into it. So spirit guides, tap me into the collective of pile number 3. What do people say about pile number 3? First of all, I'm being shown like a flower, and I'm being told like a delicate flower. Like, I don't know whether this is like first impressions, but I do feel like a lot of people talk about you like you are very sweet. You are coming across to have this very healing energy, but you have this innocence to you as well. It's not like people are going around saying they have a healing, innocent energy. It's more so like, oh, this person's sweet. This person's very kind. This person's very nice to me. This person's very loving. This person feels like, I feel like your exes as well, if you have any exes or just like people that have been around you romantically, would say that you have a very soothing energy. It could even just be friends too. They would talk about you like they have such a soothing energy. Like, I feel like, you know, they may even say it to you, like, I was having such a bad day, I spoke to you and now I feel better. You have a healing essence that I'm picking up on, and I feel like that's something that's talked about by other people. Like, some people it's just like, oh, they're sweet, they're kind, they make me feel good. Or maybe you're like people's like trouble solver. Is that a word? Trouble solver? Trouble solver, is that a word? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like, you solve people's kind of, you know, people are feeling insecure, you're the cheerleader to make them feel good. Like, you're that type of person, and people talk about that you're very kind, very generous, very kind-hearted. That's something that's coming through. I feel like people that are very close to you do speak about you like that. Like, this person's the best for that. Like, this person's got such a sweetheart. You know, you're a sweetheart basically is what I'm picking up from you guys. So pile 3, spirit guides, what do people say about pile 3? What do people say about pile number 3, spirit? How do other people describe pile number 3? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, very much you work from your heart. Your heart leads the way. Pile 3, how do people talk about pile 3? How do people describe pile number 3? Yeah, look at that Page of Swords. You have got a kind of warrior energy, but it's a hearty warrior energy. It's not like, I'm gonna go and slay the dragons, let's go for it. It's just kind of like, oh, you just follow your heart. You have passions, I feel like you're passionate about, and people see that. You're very connected to your inner child, and I feel like people may say that, oh, this person's very innocent and very sweet, and I do feel like you mirror that inner child to them, but it's mostly you're connected to the purity. You know, you never let your purity and your inner child get lost in the sauce. You very much hold hands with your inner child. So people are like, you know, people may see that as, oh, this person lives in dream world, or this person just kind of like I definitely feel like you dance to the beat of your own drum, but it's not in this kind of reckless way that it's being perceived at all. People talk about you like, you know, you've been through a lot, but you've come out fighting. You have a beautiful heart and you follow it. You know, you may have been through a lot, and people are like, you know, that really could have burned them, and they still have this pure heart on top of it. People may say that about you if they know what you've been through or something like that. Or, you know, you never choose anger or hate. You always choose love. Hearing that song, Don't Look Back in Anger, like, you don't do that. It's like you see this guy, he's here and he has all the fog behind him. It's like you've made it through the storm type of thing. So even though you give off this innocent presence, and I feel like people do say you're so sweet and whatever, it's like, I don't think that people can really deny. I feel like when people know your story, it's like, wow, they really came from that fog and they brought clarity and they kind of came out fight and they really did that. They beat the odds type of energy. So when people hear your story, they see you as the epitome of strength. But people that just meet you, you know, that don't know your story, it's like, oh, they're sweet, you know, they're sweet, they're loving, they're kind. But then when people hear what you've been through or your story of what you've done or what you've built for yourself, it's like, oh, that person's strong. It's very, very brave and strong heart, you know. A lot of respect people have for you that know what you've been through, I'm hearing. Pile number 3, let's get deeper. What do people say about pile 3? What's the talk on the town of pile 3? What do people say? How do people talk about pile 3? Yeah, you do have exes that speak about you. Like, I don't feel like you're disliked by your exes. I actually feel like you are very much held in a high regard by your exes, or even if there's bad blood with your exes and you're like, oh, they don't like me. I feel like, you know, I do feel like there's this energy within them. I feel like they do see you as this divine feminine energy, whether you're a male or female. They see you as this divine feminine energy. They see you as somebody. I'm picking up some Libra energy. I am picking up Cancer and Pisces, but I'm picking up Libra. Like, you're very fair, very diplomatic, very, very much balanced. You're very attractive, and I feel like you have a very nurturing side to you with this Queen of Cups here. I feel like you very much emotionally fulfill a lot of people, and a lot of people talk about you like you are mother or father material. I feel like, you know, a lot of romantic suitors, I feel like they talk about you like, oh, this is the person I'd want to settle down with, or this is the person that I'd want to, you know, have a family with, or something like that. You're very nurturing like that, and you do mother people. Even though you have the beautiful innocence of like an inner child, you also have this motherly energy. Whether you're male or female, you do nurture people, and I feel like, you know, that comes through from people. I feel like people talk about your kindness and your, you know, how you make them feel like home. You feel like home to them, you know. What do people say? What do people say? They're showing me how you're perceived, but they're almost like not telling me too much about what is said though. What is said about pile 3, spirit guides? How are they described? How is pile number 3 described? Queen of... Do you remember I said you had passions? We got this Queen of Wands energy here. You're passionate about something, pile 3. And I feel like you go after what you want. You really run after what you want. So I was getting distracted, then someone's cooking in my house. It smells divine. But yeah, you go after what you want. Again, with the wand here, you may be a witch, practitioner of magic, whatever you like to call yourself. But there's something about, like, you have an idea. You may be like an entrepreneur. Like, you have an idea and you build it from the ground. They're playing me Doja Cat song, Woman. And again, this is a play into male and female, whatever the case. But you just have that divine feminine energy within you. Really, really strongly. You know, it's coming through as queen energy, high priestess energy. I'm hearing Nicki Minaj, you could be the king, but watch the queen conquer. You know the Monster song? I'm hearing that. Very strong. I feel like people straight away when they talk about you, it's like, oh yeah, they're sweet, they're kind, they're lovely, they're nice. But then it's like, after like one conversation with you and hearing your passions and hearing what you have to say or seeing what you've built for yourself or whatever the case or what you've come through, they're like, oh my God, that person's so strong. You're inspiring. You're awe-inspiring, you know? But again, you have this gentle soul. You're so fierce, but you have this gentle soul. Some Leo energy coming through here. And some Sagittarius energy coming through here as well. I know they're masculine energies, but that's what's coming through. I wanna do more. How do people talk about pile 3? How do people describe pile 3, spirit guides? Tell me into the collective of pile 3. How are they described by people? What is said about them? What is said about pile pile 3. They're telling me to lay all of these. We have the Star, we have the Lovers, we have the 9 of Cups, we have the King of Cups, and we have the Temperance. Okay, in the back of the deck, we have the 8 of Swords. It's like you've come from nothing, turned it into something. There was this energy of you in the past, maybe as a bit of a damsel in distress. But I feel like you I feel like you've actually fallen to, like, you've been a victim of people's assumptions in the past. And you always kind of double back on those assumptions. Like with the 8 of Swords here, I feel like, okay, maybe you went through a lot, maybe you went through a lot of shortcomings, but they're almost making me feel like that Scooby-Doo, what's her name, Daphne, you know, she was always like the attractive one, but she was also like the damsel in distress, but no one was ever going, oh, she's intelligent, she can do this and she can do that, and then in the movie she kind of redeems herself that she's actually quite, you know, intelligent and things like that. Because for some reason in the 2000s, for women, for some reason it was like you couldn't be attractive and smart, you could only be smart or attractive, you couldn't be both. I feel like you've fallen victim to that, whether you're male or female. Like people are like, oh, they've gone through them shortcomings, or they're the damsel in distress, or they're just very attractive and very sweet, but that's it. Whereas I feel like you have so many layers to you, it takes the people a while to really see them. And I feel like you've doubled back on people like that with the Star energy, with the Queen of Wands. It's like you've almost changed people's perceptions of you in a way. You do attract a lot of love interest, to be honest with you. I feel like that's your aura. I feel like that's your energy. I feel like people do talk about you in that way, like this person's very attractive, this person's very alluring, kind of like pile number 2 in the sense that you're a bit of a siren, but it's more so like you may attract people, pile 3, where they want to look after you or maybe control you in ways. Maybe in the past it was controlling, maybe now it's more like they want to protect you. You may have attracted people like that in the past because you're seen as this delicate flower, and people sometimes don't even give you those props of how strong you are. But the more people get to know you, it's almost like they get surprised and shocked by how strong you are, how intelligent you are, how you've kind of made it through this storm. You know what I mean? Yeah, with this Temperance energy, it's just like you're somebody that can stand on your own 2 feet. You don't need anyone. And I feel like the talk about you is they're so sweet. You know, people in romantic interest are like, oh, I want to look after them, or you know what I mean, they're so sweet, they need their heart guarded and things like that, where it's just like you've got it covered, you're very, very strong. So there is a bit of misconception that people have about you, because all I'm really picking up in regards to talking is either that you're very attractive or that you're very, very sweet and nice. I do see your friends talking about how much of a big heart you have, how generous you have and things like that. But I feel like in regards to people on the outside looking in, it's just like, oh, they're sweet. It's again, it's like that Daphne girl from Scooby-Doo. It's like they're sweet, they're attractive, you know, again, damsel in distress type of energy, but no more. But you're multi-dimensional. I feel like there's so many layers to you. I feel like when people do hear you talk about your passions as well, it's almost like a surprise or a bit shock. It's like, oh, wow, this person has a lot of intelligence. They're actually very full of wisdom. You know what I mean? They actually have a lot to say and a lot to offer. But you are one of those very precious people that unravel. Like, you have so many layers to you, and it's just like the more people get closer to you, the more people see those layers and like, wow. So when people leave your life or people are out of your life, you are really missed. Like, you're somebody that really cannot be duplicated, you know. Let's take a look at the oracle cards and go deeper. We have Isis rebirth. Again, I feel like with this 8 of Swords and this Wheel of Fortune energy, I feel like you've had to do that. I feel like you've ascended a lot in this lifetime, or really phoenixed a lot in this lifetime. We also have Earth here. And look at her. She's like pregnant with the world, and you have that feminine energy, whether you're male or female. You have that divine feminine in you, very connected to the earth, the earthy realm, I feel. Even if you don't normally feel like home in this 3D realm, I feel like you're very connected to nature. And when we think of nature and we think of animals, we think of their innocence, and I feel like you have that. But it's kind of like how people look at animals. It's like, oh, they're so sweet, but then people almost act like animals are dumb because they don't speak our language, but yet they have a whole other language. You know what I mean? Animals are like, can understand when their name's being called and things like that, but do we know when our dog is calling our name? No, because we don't speak dog, but our dog has learned to understand human communication. We haven't learned to understand their communication, you know. So people look at animals like, oh, they're so sweet, and oh, you know what I mean? But it's like they're actually very intelligent. Like, human beings are probably the only you know, species here. Well, they're the only species here that pay to live here. You know what I mean? They pay to live. You know what I mean? So actually animals are a bit more intelligent than us, really. That's what I think. You don't have to agree with me. But that's the type of energy. It's like you're seen as sweet, and it's like, oh, they're pure, they're sweet, they're nice. Forgetting that you don't become that pure and sweet and connected to everything by, you know, just being pure, nice and sweet. It comes from challenge. It comes from cracking yourself open and understanding yourself and being strong enough to stand in that purity, you know. And I feel like you've done that. So it's kind of like an illusion around you, because it's been hard for me to articulate what I'm getting, because there's almost this illusion around you, like they don't necessarily see you through the eyes of what you are. So when they talk about you, it's like they can only talk about you to a level that they understand themselves, really. I hope this is making sense. Yeah, but with the rebirth energy, I feel like you keep ascending, and I feel like you keep bettering yourself and moving towards these passions, and you know what I mean, slaying everything in your way in this very beautiful way. And I just feel like you change people's perceptions a lot. Because if they had their way, it would just be like, oh, they're sweet, they're nice, they're lovely, they're cute, like whatever. But you're more than that. Very connected to spirit, I feel, as well. Very, very healing. You've got a very healing energy about you. What else do people say, Spirit? Can you tell me anything else that people say? Yeah, they keep showing me you've kind of got this crystallized ring around you where people just don't... I feel like sometimes you feel misunderstood because people don't see you truly for what you are and all that you've been through. There's like this kind of ring around you, and it's almost for a sense of protection. It's almost for sense of protection, I feel. Because you are so sweet. I feel like you are empathic. I feel like you do take on the burdens of others. I feel like maybe it's that. To be honest, I'm feeling like it's energetically there, so you're not drawing in a lot of broken birds. Because I feel like you have drawn in broken birds, but it's there so that everybody isn't just like running towards you to kind of take from you, you know? Because you have such a beautiful light. I feel like it is preserved in this energy where people are like, not necessarily looking over you, but just like, oh, they're sweet, they're nice. And it's like, that stops you from being taken advantage of too much. Because it's just like, this power and this strength, they'd maybe try and take it if they saw that straight away in you. That's how they're making me feel. Anything else that people say? No, other than like, I do feel like you get a lot of romantic interest. People are very physically attracted to you. Very physically attracted to you. It's hard for people to speak about you because there's almost this yeah, look that we have divine wisdom at the back of the deck. Very connected to spirit. Very connected to spirit. But I feel like you ascend. I'm not saying you're in another realm to other people. You know, we're all here in this earthly 3D realm, but I just feel like it's hard for people to get their mind around you and speak about you. You've got a protection layer around you. Not that people aren't talking about you, but it's just like, I feel like you're heavily protected. So any negative words or anything like that said about you, it's almost like I'm being pushed away from it. Like if I wanted to say something bad about you, I wouldn't. I love you guys, but you know what I mean. I'm being made to feel like if somebody wanted to say something bad about you, it's almost like this energy being pushed away from it. Like their mind would just turn on to something else. You've kind of got this layer of protection. I've never seen this in a reading, and I wouldn't be saying it otherwise. But I just feel like you do heavily protections. You know, you always have your like evil eye on you. You're always protecting yourself like that, or you have a strong spiritual team, because I feel like you're protected from people talking bad in a sense. Not that you're immune to it, but I just feel like there isn't really much to say. But also your strength and your power is very heavily preserved and protected with this layer of kind of, it looks like a white crystallized energy. So when people are seeing you, it's just your sweetness and your kindness, so that they can't take your kind of power away, if that makes sense. Heavily protected. You may even feel, Pal 3, and I'm going to say it, you may always feel watched. Like you're in a room and you feel like you're being stared at, but then you're looking around and no one's staring at you, or you just like are in a room by yourself and you feel like eyes on you. It's because you're heavily protected. Heavily protected, because you're very tapped into that purity. In a world like this, you kind of have to be able to preserve it. But I feel like spirit is always around you, protecting you. And when you feel like people are watching you or people are around you, it is spirit protecting you. This reading went in a completely different turn than I expected it to, but that's what came through for you guys. Very, very, very protected. It took me a while to get into it. There's almost this ushering away when I talk about people trying to talk about you. It's like I'm being deflected from it in a way. It's like reverse. Maybe you do a lot of reversal spells, or maybe your ancestors and spirit guides are doing that for you. You may not even have to do a lot of protection in this lifetime because you got it covered in the higher realms. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up. So I hope this resonated. I hope I was able to articulate this in a way that it made sense. Yeah, I hope this resonated. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. Have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal4, welcome to your reading. So we are currently taking a look at how other people describe you and what people say about you. So if you guys chose the Ocean Jasper crystal, then this is your reading. I'm going to pop the Ocean Jasper by here if it stays. So these oracle cards we're going to be taking a look at last, and they are basically going to give us a little bit of a deeper insight as to what people say about you, how you're perceived in that. And we're going to get straight in with tarot. So let's go. So spirit guides, please tap me into the collective of pile number 4. You have a very perfect balance of masculine, feminine energy. Or at least you've been learning to balance the both. Scorpio energy coming through here. Picking up some Scorpio energy straight up. Let's get in. Pile number 4. What do people say about pile 4 spirit guides? I just heard witch bitch. Do some of you work with Magick or like read tarot or something like that? I just heard witch bitch. Pile 4. My sister refers to herself as that on Instagram. If you've ever seen her Instagram, she normally comments under my my Instagram posts or YouTube to say that I'm her sister. She likes to do that. If you've ever seen her Instagram, she refers to herself as witch bitch. She's only 13 or 14. But yeah, that's what she refers to herself as. This may be her pile, so hi Belle if you're watching. Pile 4. How do other people describe pile number 4? Okay. We have the Two of Swords. Okay. Strong Scorpio energy. Because we have the waning crescent there as well. Talking about clearing up karmic cycles and whatnot. You're not scared of the dark. And what I mean by that is, and I don't mean like, you know, you turn the lights off without fear at night. I don't mean it like that. I mean it in the sense of like, you, Scorpio energy, like mad. Like you will swim to the deepest ends of your emotions and just like not care. Like you can go deep and dark and come out unscarred. Like you're one of those people. You fear nothing in regards to that sense at all. You're very deep, very passionate, and I feel like yeah, strong 8th house energy coming through. Some of you guys may be into like psychology or something like that. I'm being taken into that, or like crime investigation. I know that's like typical Scorpio energy, but that's how it's coming through. Like you're very mysterious, but into the darker things and don't mind about it. Maybe you watch like crime documentaries and things like that. Very into that. Like maybe you like a lot of dark or deep music. It doesn't have to be dark music, it can be deep music. Because now I'm picking up a bit of Pisces energy here too, you know. I'm not as scared to kind of like dwindle in the dark side of the moon, if that makes sense. And I feel like people do see that about you, and it's very mysterious, but also it's like, what is it about this person, you know? It's almost like an enchanted energy coming through. Pile 4 spirit guides. How do people talk about pile 4? Upright or upside down? Upside down. Okay, Knight of Pentacles reversed with the 5 of Wands reversed. Yeah, it's almost like you confuse people. but they're not telling me what people are saying about you. It's like people can't put their finger on you. People want to say something, but it's like, what do I say about this person? They don't give me enough to talk about. It's like, you have that very mysterious air. They're making me, you know, like when you see singers and like they never do interviews, so you never really can talk about them because you don't know them to talk about like that. So that always does give this room for projection, but at the same time, it's like, you can't really put a finger on it. The only way I can explain, you know, like everyone talks about Laurie Harvey, very attractive lady. We don't see her do interviews much though, and people are talking about it all the time, but we know nothing about her. But that adds to the illusion, you know. It's kind of like the Kardashians in a sense, or like, yeah, the Kardashians, like there's a lot we don't know about them. We all know a lot of them have had their surgeries, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't talk about it. So it's like that mystery there. Or like Beyonce, she never does interviews, so there's this kind of mystery. Or The Weeknd, you know, there's this mystery there. So you have that about you, where people can kind of project onto you what they think that you are. Again, I'm hearing witch bitch, like I'm hearing that. Pile 4. Ooh. King of Pentacles. You put people in their place. Have you put people in their place? Because there is almost a thing of like, that person, I'm not going to get on the wrong side of that person. Not because they're crazy or they're a bad person, but because I know that they respect themselves enough that if I try it with them, they are going to put me in my place. That is said about you. Like, people know not to do you dirty. Because what I'm picking up as well is I feel like you have a close-knit circle, or you're very careful with who you bring around you, and I feel like you really take it to heart if people are to hurt you. So I feel like maybe people have seen you go off on someone or something like that, because there is this talk of like, I'm not getting on the wrong side of this person. Like, no way. They rate themselves too high, you know what I mean, that I'm just not going to get on the wrong side of them. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I mean like, you love yourself. That's definitely said about you. Not in a negative way of like, oh, they love themselves. Although I don't know why people don't want people to love themselves. That's a bit weird. It's just like, oh, that person really rates themselves. They believe in their own sauce. You know what I mean? You're very individual and unique, and people do see that about you and like that about you. But it's like, you're on your own wave. Definitely on your own wave. Pile number... You may have some Taurus energy in your chart as well. Pile, you're very attractive. People will say that about you, and when I said Taurus, they were like, you may have like Venus near your ascendant, or you may be like a Taurus rising, because I'm being told you're very naturally attractive. I do feel like some of you guys may dress yourselves up to be attractive in the sense of you may express art on your body, so dye your hair certain colors, wear certain clothes, or like wear tattoos and things like that. Not wear tattoos, but get tattoos to express art on your body, because there's something unique about you in that way. But also like, just naturally, you're very naturally attractive. Like you wouldn't really need a lot to be considered attractive, and I feel like people do say that about you. I feel like you have like photos of yourself screenshotted by people, and not in a creepy way, but just in a sense of, look what this person wore, it's so cool, I want to try and find out where this top is from, or where those shoes are from, or where that hat is from, or that jewelry. Like you may have that happen to you a lot, you know, or people may see you walking about and it's like, oh my god, look at that person's belt, like I wonder where they got it from, they look really cool, I really want to get that belt. You may deal with people that copy or jack your style a bit. Don't let it get to you. It's not people just trying to take from you. I think that you are a bit of an inspiration for people in that way. When people embrace their uniqueness, people are always going to try and mimic it, you know what I mean? And I feel like you are a trendsetter in a way. Some Rihanna energy coming through here. But people talk about you like, who's that girl? Who's that boy? Who's that person? You know, people do talk about you like that. But there's no... Definitely like pile number 1, they can't really put you in a box, but not because of like you're here, there, everywhere, you've got your hands in a lot of pies. It's because like you have this shield of like tenacious, lucid dreaming. What does she say? They're playing me the song. What does she say? And I love it. She says, keep to myself, keep it simple, keep them guessing who I really am. And I feel like that's you. Keep them guessing who I am. I'm never really going to reveal too much of myself here, because not because of anything. I don't even feel like you're like that. It's just a case of like, it's nobody's business. You know, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna stay mysterious and I'm gonna be all, you know, manipulative like that. I just feel like it's just kind of like, it's nobody's business. nobody's business at all. I just mind my business and they should mind theirs. It's that type of energy, you know. But people talk about you like, this person's really cool. Look what they're into. It's really cool. I think I want to do that. This person reads tarot. I think I want to do that. This person this person has plants everywhere. I'm gonna buy plants too. It's like that, you know. This person took up gardening. I just bought a shovel, you know. Like that's just what it's like. It's just like they just try to. It's given me like not Regina George, like you're Regina George in a bad way, but you know when they home in on all the people, and it's just like I hear she does car commercials in Japan. Like, you know, when they talk about her, like, one time she punched me in the face. It was awesome. Like, it's that type of energy about you. I feel like you are looked up to like that in a way, whether you realize it or not. But it's because of this mysterious air and this authenticity. So people talk about you in that way. You are kind of praised. Pile number 4. How do people talk about pile 4? How do people describe pile number 4? Upright or upside down? Upright. Okay. I'm hearing Doja Cat shine. You stand out, and that's what makes you shine. You're not out here like trying to be center of attention. You're not out here singing on top of your lungs to get people to look at you. You're not like, look at my uniqueness, look at what I'm wearing. You literally just shove on a piece of clothing, don't even think about it, walk outside, and people are like, oh, look. You know, like people do look at you like that. You're unique like that. And I feel like that's what shines about you, is your imperfections make you perfect. Your individuality has you shining like the sun. And people are drawn to you. People look up to you, pal number 3. And you know what I'm being told? You guys may have resting bitch face. So people are like, oh, I don't think that person would really want to talk to me. But then when people approach you, there's something about your smile. You have like a really beautiful smile, or like this sun energy just kind of like shines out. And people are like, oh my God, I did not expect this person to be so nice and warm and nice to me. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't expect that. Yeah, you may have like a Leo sun and then maybe like a Scorpio rising, or just something like that, where you may just have like resting bitch face, or just be like, you know, to yourself. So people are like, oh, you know, that person, I'm really attracted to them, or they have this or that. But it's like, oh, maybe people are a bit too scared to come up to you and be like, you know, where'd you get them shoes from? Where'd you get those gloves from? Or whatever the case. But then the people that do pluck up the courage to do that, I feel like the minute you make eye contact with them, it's just like this smile comes out and you're very warm, you know. And you're just like, you may get a lot of people tell you like, oh my God, when I first met you, I thought you were a bitch. You know, I thought you were going to be mean, but you're actually really nice. Like it could be that type of energy. You just exude that. Very in your masculine energy though, with the King of Pentacles. Like you have this walk, you have a walk that it's just, it's like you walk tall. I hope that makes sense. You walk tall. You walk like you own the place, even though that's not your intention. You believe in your own sauce, is what I'm going to say. Pile number 4. Pile number 4. How do other people describe pile 4? How do people describe pile 4? Yeah, a lot of people, like if you have Instagram and stuff and you post looks, people be screenshotting that. Look at that. Like people are here with these 9 of Wands. Like I don't know if I want to approach them, man. I don't know whether they'll really want to talk to me. Like they look really cool, but I don't, you know, when you see a celebrity and you're like, oh my God, I don't think they're gonna want to talk to me at all, and they have this energy, but then it's like you're like, hey, like you have this like sun energy, and they're like, oh God, okay, you know. I do feel like you're careful about who you bring around you, but I don't think you're like, you have mean girl attitude at all. I think people may mistake your confidence sometimes as like, oh, you know, this person's full of themselves. I feel like some people may say that, but I feel like that's just people reflecting their insecurities onto you, you know. I was watching one of Tara Wate's videos, so shout out Tara Wate, and she said something like, when someone says about confidence and they're like, oh, you think you're better than everyone else. And then it's like, well, no, you think I'm better than everyone else, because why would you say that? If I thought I was better than everyone else, I would say it, but I'm not. I just believe in myself. Like you know, like you're kind of showing your insecurities there. Like she said something like that, which I really admired and I liked. And I feel like that's you guys, you know. Shout out Tara Wate if you're watching. Hey, girl. Pile 4. Pile 4. Six of Pentacles. How do people talk about Pile 4? How do people talk about Pile 4? The Hierophant. Yeah, you do have this kind of leadership energy kind of built into you. We have the Queen of Pentacles at the back of... Oh, God, it just dropped out of my hands. We have Queen of Pentacles at the back of the deck. Some of you guys may be entrepreneurs or working on something that is going to bring you success. So whatever the case, people admire you for that. Or people just admire the fact that you do put yourself first. You really do look after yourself. You really take care of yourself. Maybe you present yourself very well. You take a lot of pride in how you dress or how you look. Or you just like really make sure you're taken care of, and you think of yourself and how things are going to affect you so that you're not taken advantage of, you know, like nobody's got you but you, like that. And I feel like you're aware of that, and I feel like people admire the way that you value yourself and tend to yourself. And with the Six of Pentacles and the Hierophant, I really do feel like people may try and get your attention. People may try and get your attention, but what I'm being told here is when you speak as well, like you have got a leadership energy where you speak, people listen. And I feel like people do kind of like look up to you like that with the Six of Pentacles here, and look for you to... I feel like a lot of, like, if you're in a friends group, you may be like the mother of the group, or like the person that's always going to be the one to stick up for you. Like people talk about you like that. Like if they're friends with you, it's like they will always have my back. They will always stick up for me. They will always, like, if somebody's in trouble or somebody's got somebody bullying them or whatever, like you're the person that would be like, what are you, you know, you'd stick up for them. Like, do not talk to my person like that. Do not come at my person like that. Like, no, like you're the person to put it right. You'll always stand up for the underdog, and you'll always stand up for what is right. You'll always do that. I see you doing that a lot, and people really like that about you. Yeah, you know, like sometimes people will look at people and they'll get jealous of people and things like that. It's like you are like a devil's advocate. You look out for people like that. You're not like, don't be mean to that person just because they're attractive, or just because they are innocent, or just because, do you know what I mean? Like you're not like that at all. You're very much like for the truth. You know what I mean? You very much stand up for the truth, and have no problem saying what you need to say, and people do like that about you. You have a very commanding voice when you speak, I'm hearing. So let's take a look at these two cards. So you have, we have the Sun twice. So we have the Sun here, and we have the Sun here. So you have a very bright energy, even though I feel like you have this mysterious energy around you at the same time. And then we have flow here as well. I'm hearing Pocahontas just around the riverbend. I feel like you just dance to the beat of your own drum. You don't look for anybody else to tell you go. You know what I mean? It's like you don't look for anybody else to give you the get-go. It's like I'll do what I want when I want to do it. You very much believe in yourself like that. You don't wait for anybody to give you the get-go, and you just live your life that way. And with the Sun energy as well, it's like you don't wait for anybody else to see the light in you, because you see it in yourself. So people talk about you like, wow, like your confidence is very infectious. So because you give off that energy, I feel like people do see you like that, or at least that's how you appear, and people talk about it like that person knows who they are. I could never get one over on that person. You know what I mean? That's how you're spoken about like that. But the main thing that people talk about you is like your uniqueness and just your individuality, and how they want to be like you in a way. Like I feel like you are on people's mood boards for sure, or people just like, when people want to feel good about themselves, they'd be like, oh, what would pile number 4 do? You know, like what would they do? How would they apply themselves to this? Or, you know, how are they doing this? Maybe I should apply myself in that way. So I do feel like you get a couple of copycats, I'm not gonna lie. You're very aware of them too, I feel. But just remember, if that does annoy you in any way, you know, I'm hearing spirit say, what was I saying? Because they told me it the other day, because I was getting annoyed at something, and they told me, what was the saying? Often imitated, never duplicated. People can imitate you all they want, but they can't duplicate you. You know what I mean? They can't duplicate you because they're not you, and they don't have your sauce. They don't have the, you know, Krabby Patty secret formula, like I like to say. In the back of the deck, funnily enough, Death and Magick. So yeah, definitely, you're not scared to go to the deep ends. You're not scared of the dark at all, and I feel like you really hold your magic in your hands. You may be a healer. I do feel like you are connected to spirit in some way. You may have Cancer energy with this moon here, but we have 2 crescent moons there as well. Yeah. 8th house energy coming through here for sure. Very intelligent, and I feel like people do say that about you. You're very intelligent. You may have the odd person like, oh, they're calculating, oh, you know, that type of energy, but no, I don't think that's the case. I just think that you're very intelligent. You really think before you move, you know, and you've taken time to know yourself, I feel, or at least that's how people talk about you. You know, you've got yourself on lock, if that makes sense. That's how you're spoken about. You're seen as in high regard. People talk about you in high regard, but they may be just a little bit worried to approach sometimes. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can see. So yeah, panel number 4, that's what I had for you. I hope this resonated. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.